Namaskar. Welcome to my channel Motivational Mata. And this is the astrological section of Motivational Mata. In the last episode, we talked about planet transitions, where we explored how planets, as they move through their orbits and enter different zodiac signs, influence various aspects of our lives. But today, we will focus on another important astrological phenomenon: planetary retrograde. When planets appear to reverse their direction in the sky, the impact can become even more profound. So let us dive into the mysteries of retrograde motion and understand how it affects our daily life. So, in this episode, we are going to explore a fascinating and often misunderstood concept in astrology: planetary retrogrades. You have probably heard the phrase Mercury is in retrograde and seen people blaming it for everything from missed emails to broken technology. But what does retrograde really mean, and how does it impact our lives when it happens? If you are new to astrology or you have heard the term but aren't sure what it means, don't worry. I will walk you through every step. What is retrograde? First, let us start with the basics. In astrology, a retrograde happens when a planet appears to move backward in its orbit when viewed from the Earth. Now, planets don't actually move backward. This is just an optical illusion caused by the way Earth and other planets orbit the Sun at different speeds. Imagine you are in a car on the highway and driving faster than another car in the lane next to you. For a moment, it can look like the other car is moving backward, even though both the cars are going forward. That is essentially what happens during a retrograde. The planet in question appears to be moving backward, but it's not actually reversing. So this is what a planet retrograde actually is. Now, how does retrograde affect us? Astrologers believe that when a planet goes retrograde, the energies associated with that planet becomes disrupted or reversed. Think of it like a power outage. Everything gets a little wonky. This can lead to challenges, delays, or confusions in the areas of life that the planet rules. Now, each planet represents something different in astrology. So, every retrograde affects us in a unique way, depending on which planet is involved. So, let us go through each of the planets that go retrograde and how their energy shifts during this period. So, we will start with Mercury retrograde, and it is the most famous one. You have probably heard about the most Mercury retrograde. Mercury is a planet of communication, technology, and travel. When it goes retrograde, which happens about 3 or 4 times a year for roughly around 3 weeks each time, it tends to cause miscommunications, technological glitches, and travel disruptions. You might find that emails get lost, your phone suddenly stops working, or you misinterpret someone's words. It's a good time to double check important messages, back up your files, and be extra careful when planning travel. But Mercury retrograde is not all bad. It's actually a perfect time for reflection. Since things slow down, it gives us the opportunity to revise or revisit old projects, reconnect with people from the past, and reflect on what we need to improve. Next up is Venus retrograde. Venus is the planet of love, beauty, and money. When it goes retrograde, roughly every 18 months for about 40 days, it can shake up our relationships, finances, and even how we see ourselves. During Venus retrograde, people often experience old flames coming back into their lives, unresolved relationship issues bubbling to the surface, or even questioning their own self-worth and appearance. You might also feel a shift in how you handle your finances. This is not the best time to make big purchases or investment because things can change once retrograde ends. On the bright side, Venus retrograde is a time to reevaluate what really matters in relationships. It's perfect for working on emotional healing, either with a partner or by reflecting on past relationships. Mars retrograde, energy and action. Mars is the planet of action, drive and aggression. When Mars goes retrograde, which happens roughly every 2 years for about 2 months, you may feel like your energy is low, like you are stuck in the rut, or having trouble moving forward with projects. People can feel more frustrated or irritated during Mars retrograde because Mars is all about pushing ahead and retrograde makes it harder to do that. Arguments and confrontations can also become more common since Mars rules aggression. So it's a good idea to practice patience and avoid impulsive decisions during this time. Instead of pushing forward, Mars retrograde is a time to strategize. Think of it as a pause when you reassess your goals. Focus on what is important and plan for the future. Jupiter in the planet of expansion. So Jupiter is all about expansion, growth, and good fortune. When Jupiter goes retrograde, which lasts for about 4 months each year, it is time to turn inwards and reflect on your personal growth. Jupiter retrograde is not as chaotic as Mercury or Mars retrogrades are. Instead, it's more about internal development. You may find yourself asking questions like, am I on the right path? Am I growing in the way I want to? It's a great time to reassess your goals and make sure you're aligned with your true purpose. Saturn retrograde. Saturn is the planet of structure, discipline, and responsibility. Saturn retrograde happens once a year for about 4.5 months and tends to make us reconsider our commitments. You might find yourself questioning the rules, boundaries, and structures in your life. Are you being too strict with yourself or not strict enough? It's time to reevaluate how you handle responsibilities and whether you need to let go of any outdated beliefs or habits. Saturn retrograde is the perfect time for long-term planning and making sure the foundation you have built is solid. Outer planet retrogrades, Uranus, Neptune, and Pluto. These outer planets also go retrograde, but these retrogrades are longer and tend to have a more subtle background influence on society and generational changes. So, Uranus retrograde can bring about unexpected changes, forcing you to adopt. Neptune retrograde is about stripping away illusions, making it a great time for spiritual clarity. And Pluto retrograde brings up themes of transformation and power, encouraging us to confront deep-seated issues. While these outer planets retrogrades may not directly impact our daily lives in obvious ways, they can have a profound effect on larger and social movements and personal transformation over time. Now, how to navigate retrogrades? Now that you know how each planet's retrograde can affect you, here are some tips to make the most of these periods. So, slow down. Retrogrades are all about pausing and reflecting. So, avoid rushing into new projects. Review and assess. Whether it's a relationship, work, or personal goals, use retrogrades to go back and improve what's already there. Stay flexible. Things may not go as planned, but that's okay. Be adaptable and open to changes. Use retrogrades for your personal growth. Retrogrades offer us a chance to dig deeper and focus on inner work. Embrace the opportunities to reflect and grow. So, the next time you hear that Mercury or any other planet is in retrograde, don't panic. Instead, think of it as a time to slow down, reflect, and improve. Each retrograde brings its own challenges, but also its own opportunities for growth. Thank you for watching. If you find this video useful, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to Motivational Month. And as always, keep looking to the stars for guidance and take care of yourself. Namaskar.